Good evening, everyone. IMS brings you another season of Management Masterclass, a sneak peek into management pedagogy. In a constant endeavor to impart and enhance our students' knowledge, we conceptualize these sessions so that the student gets first-hand experience in B-School pedagogy by expert faculty members on different subjects being offered in an MBA course. These sessions that we've planned will be akin to actually attending an introductory B-School session on a given topic. It will help you get a gist of important subjects to be equipped in making better selection for your MBA course. This season, we present to you a session that's been discussed a lot the past 2 years, the future of work and the rise of gig economy. Let's understand how flexible workforces and mass adaptation of remote and hybrid work models in the future will work. So the session takeaways are going to be: what is gig economy and how is it reshaping the future of work? Facts and trends to know about the future of work. Most in-demand skills for the future workspace, and 4 possible worlds of work in future and how it will help us. So to present this interesting topic, we have Dr. S. Shivsankari. Professor has been working as an assistant professor at Maths Institute of Management and Entrepreneurship, Jain University, Bangalore. She holds a post-graduation degree in commerce and has completed her MBA and MPhil with specialization in finance. She's completed a doctoral degree in the area of microfinance. She's presented and published more than 50 articles in various national and international conferences in her area of specialization. Apart from her academics, she's also taken part in talk shows and televisions and won many prizes, awards for painting, clay modeling, and singing. Ma'am, it's a great honor having you here with us, and I'm sure the students are going to enjoy this session a lot. So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity for IMS Learning Resources, and I'm most privileged to be here as a part of this session. This session is all about the future of work and the rise of gig economy. So first, let me give an introduction with, as we know that with the introduction of UPI, the Unified Payment Interface, you can see, for example, in case of a confectionaries like chocolates, toffees business, though it is an irrelevant sector, there is an introduction of UPI and has impacted the toffee business. Can you say why it is so? When, for example, when you see, if you go to a shop and buy some groceries, instead of getting the money, you will get a change of toffee and biscuits, toffees and chocolates, right? There was a huge loss for the toffee business after the introduction of UPI, because unified payment services, we pay Google Pay, and through online payments we do. This business there is a fall in the profits. There is a decrease in the top line and the bottom line of toffee business. See, you can see there is completely, the fintech is one area, and the toffee business is completely different area. You can see how the technology has impacted a toffee business with the introduction of UPI in the country. So though it is irrelevant, the different domains, the different industry, it has impacted. So I can say this technology is one of the huge impacting factor for future of work. So how we work and where we work and what kind of work that we are going to do is transforming. And also when you see the work of the past are no more on the present day, and we cannot imagine what kind of nature of work that we'll be having in future, right? So the nature of work is unimaginable, where and what kind of virtual reality or augmented reality that we are going to work, what kind of tools, what kind of automation that we are going to have in the future is unimaginable, unpredictable, right? So future of work. So there is a transformation in the nature of work, the workplace, what kind of skill sets that are required, what is the role that's to be played by the employers, whether it comes to blue collar job or a white collar job. What is the role of an employee or a worker? It is transforming. There is an exponential growth. There is in the technology, there is a drastic change in the nature of work and what kind of work that we undertake and what was in the past. And there is the accelerating growth in the changes and the transformation in the technology, right? So future of work. what kind of work that we are going to look into. So let us look into what is future of work as we are driven by technology, accelerating connectivity. So you now in 5G, the speed with which we are networking, the speed with which we are connecting, and new talent models, we have cognitive technologies, and the jobs are changing, right? We have new different jobs that are coming into picture, which were not there in the previous days. Earlier days, we don't have app developers. We are not having coding, the person software coding or requirements. We did not have digital marketing. These are new jobs which are sprouted up, right? In the past decades, these jobs were not there at all, right? And still more in the future, we'll also have a lot of jobs which unimaginable and unpredictable, right? And we do have an unleashed workforce. We have a new, freshly defined value, and we have new values for organizations, how it is perceived by employees, the stakeholders, and communities. So you can say the future of work, it is changes in how work will be get done over the next decade, which is predominantly influenced by the technology. And there is a transformation in the generational, and there is a social shift. People doesn't, the traditional time of 9 to 5 jobs are going to be vanishing, and people wish to work on their flexi timings as per their places also. You need not have a physical workspace also required. So there is a social shift, and you can see that future of work is a projection of how we work, what kind of workers that people require, the employers require, and the workplace, whether we'll be having or working in a physical working space or a virtual working space. These are evolving day by day in the years ahead. This is gradually evolving, right? You can see in the picture who does the work. So whether it is the part-time employees or full-time workers. So earlier, people are more interested to have a full-time jobs, right? So full-time, that is 9 to 5, and the tenure, they will work for an organization for a longer tenure, right? And now in this present day scenario, if a worker, if an employee is working for a long term in an organization, it is considered to be he is unskilled or not equipped. He's not upskilled for the latest requirements. So there is a transition. Who does the work, whether it is the part-time employees or full-time employees, and crowdsourcing, right? We do have crowdsourcing, matching the demand and supply. So the employers and employee, matching the employers and employee. Also, we have gig workers. Gig workers are freelancers, a part-time job, who are having the skills. So who have a specific skills or expertise will work for a contractual basis or a temporary period to complete a specific task. You call them a gig worker. So who does the work, whether it is a full-time worker or a part-time worker, then it is a gig worker, and how it is being matched, right? And how the work is done with the help of AI, that is artificial intelligence, robotics, and automation. So you can see the delivery, say for example, we have Swiggy, Zomato, Uber, Ola, Airbnb. These are majority or predominantly based on gig economy, or the gig workers who are contractual, who work on temporary basis, sharing of assets, sharing of expertise or skills, or part-time workers. So you can see this is a part of automation. We have apps developed, we have aggregators, which helps in matching the demand and supply, right? So we have a lot of automation done. Even in near future, Amazon, already Amazon has employed drones for delivery services, right? So we have drone in place for delivering the goods, right? So here automation is taking the work which is done by the workers. gradually the workers, the monotonous works or the works which are systematic, which are replaced by automation. So automation has taken up the job of certain specific task, and when and where the work is done, the fluid work schedules. It is not fixed 9 to work Monday to Saturday. Now the fluid work schedules, they can work at their requirement, flexi time. Some people may have early risers who work with a fresh mind at the home, at their workplace, at their home they work, right? So fluid work schedules, they at their desired time they can log into work and finish the task as per the timelines. So remote working, they need not commute a long distance to come to the workplace. No, though we say the job is 9 to 5, it is not exactly the 9 to 5, right? So they need to work, they have to commute, they have to reply to the emails even after coming home. So with the after this COVID pandemic, people are used to working from home or remote working. And you can see most of the employees say that most of 40% or more workers will not return to their work. They'll be working with the work from home schemes, right? And co-located workspaces. So we also have virtual workspaces in place in the near future. So the future of work, who does the work, how the work is done, and when and where the work is done is influenced by technology. There is a shift in the social and generation things which is filling the gap, and the future of work is transforming and gradually evolving the way we work and how we work and where we work, right? So there is a shift in way the organizations operate, right? When it comes to the productivity, or it is not that employer is also recognizing the requirement. Their requirement is to finish the task as per the timelines and the quality of work, and maintaining the productivity is the main target of the employees, right? And how the company culture, work culture is also transforming, and how the employers are also looking for the ways and means, and the future managers also should look into what are the ways and means into improve the productivity, adapting to the changing and evolving culture, how the work culture is transforming, and the way we work together. Though we are working remote, we still can be connected through technology, right? We do have social media handles and social media interfaces and apps that can connect people across the globe. And you can see automation. Automation is affecting the manual work, the way the business has operated in the earlier days, and how we have changed drastically, and no things are turned unturned. Every industry is impacted by this automation. So the machines adapt to take more tasks. Workers need to upskill because there is an exponential growth and the transition. You have to upskill yourself, right? So the way you have to keep upgrading yourself. Otherwise, you will be left behind and you will lose the race and competition, as we have to be the survival of the fittest. So you have to be updated and upskill yourself and keep updated with the trends and changing technology. And you have to be ready to work alongside the automation. We do have a lot of automation, new technologies, as we know that technology is changing very frequently, and new technology comes up, and you should be in a position to be inquisitive to learn the new technologies or new trends, right? And the next one is the metaverse. As we know, the Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, it is also renamed as Meta. Meta is going to be the future of work, and it is going to be having a larger impact on how the way we work. You can see, and you could have come across how the work, the virtual reality, augmented reality, and hologram technology. So you can have, though you work from home, you will have a virtual workspace. There will be a virtual workspace where you can work, and you can change the setup and the work timings and the creative spaces. The way we work is transformed, whether it comes to hybrid working and revolutionizing the way we have provided the training and the mentoring. And the next one, employee experiences. The future of work, The changing nature of work includes employee-centered workplaces and providing positive employee experiences, right? So the focus and purpose is to boost the productivity. The ultimate aim is to improve the productivity of the workforce, what we have, with the seamless digital experiences, with the infrastructure of physical assets and also the digital technology, with the right combination of equipments and softwares, you can keep the employee with the positive employee experiences and digital experiences to improve their productivity in the future. And flexibility in the roles and processes, right? So you can see the flexibility, the greater flexibility, whether it comes to take a leave or you want to leave a job, or you can quit the timing 9 to 5 jobs, or the time where you come into reporting to the work, or you can leave earlier, and opportunity for career breaks or sabbaticals. You can take sabbaticals also, and more options for paid time off also is provided. Because people are realizing how the work, we need only the productivity. It is not that the physical presence of 9 to 5 is required. So citing to the flexibility, which is going to be the key factor, right? The next one, focus on healthcare and well-being, right? So people have realized the requirement of, as an employer, as a manager, you should also take care of the health care and the well-being of the employees. Only when the employees are satisfied, only when they are with proper health and well-being, which will improve their morale and the workplace well-being, it will be reflected in the workplace well-being as well, right? So here, organizations are adding health benefits, providing group insurance facilities for as a part of their packages also. It also includes for career development. It also includes the social well-being and interactions, physical health, mental well-being, as people nowadays are facing a lot of depressions. In this technological world with a lot of work pressure, they face a lot of mental well-being is also to be taken into consideration, and emotional well-being is also given more focus in the future of work, which is changing and evolving will be evolved in the future. And now this is one of the most important area, recruitment based on skills rather than the roles. It is not only what kind of certification, what kind of degrees that you have, what kind of skills is more important rather than the role, right? Role-based hierarchy is unsuited to the workplace of the future. It is not the designation. It is not the what degrees or certifications that you have, what kind of talent, what kind of skills, what kind of latest technologies that you're able to upgrade yourself. People are started recognizing this and recruiting, and people started training that open up the possibilities for future business expansion and career development, right? So employees are realizing that, and role-based hierarchy, and they give more importance to skills rather than the roles, right? So when you see there are 2 resumes have been presented to a manager, one with 3 years of experience or 5 years of experience, and the other one with no experiences, but they overlook into the skill sets, what they have, what kind of upskilling they have made, and the skill sets will add more value rather than what kind of designation, what kind of role they have, what kind of experiences they have is irrelevant in these days, and which is going to transform. And skills are more important, which is more important than the certifications. You have to be skilled, equipped with the latest technologies and the latest developments in the domain where you have the expertise. The next one, employee monitoring and analytics. So possibilities for monitoring employee activities, it's not taken as a right thing. Employers, when they look for micromanagement or monitoring, is not taken in the right sense, and which will create a negativity among the workers, and employees started recognizing that also. And trust is one of the most important component when there is a relationship between the employer-employee relationship. There should be a trust between the employer and the employee. This the employee being monitored will create a negativity, which is gradually being understood by the employers as well. Next one is transparency. After this pandemic, the leaders, managers, everyone are sailing in the same boat. They have to adjust to the working condition and changing landscape of the working scenarios that we have in the present day. And post-pandemic, there were a lot of transparency in the communication, and which was taken as a priority as well. Then complex organizations. So we are in the age where we have complex business transaction. We have a lot of mergers, different joint ventures, mergers, acquisitions. So globally, we are interconnected, and the complex relationship has challenged. And it also looks into performance management, recruiting the skills, need for new operations, connecting to different part of the organization. So here, the complexity of the organization is also growing, right? Opening the doors to cross-company cooperation, and also ensuring the mitigating and how we are managing the risk is also to be considered, and which is also transforming, and giving more focus on values and missions is balancing the health and well-being of the employees, stakeholders' interest, and improved productivity or better productivity is required, right? Many employees also want to work for business that show a sense of social and corporate responsibility, and that is also evolving. And you can see earlier, for any organization, what is the motive is only the profit. We have the bottom line, you called it, top line is considered to be the revenue, and bottom line is considered to be profit. So earlier days, organizations are much interested only on profits. Now we have sustainable growth and development, and people started giving more importance to triple bottom line approach. So what is the triple bottom line approach? Is people, planet, and profit. So organizations started recognizing the requirement of preserving the environment, that is the planet, how we are contributing to the society, how we are contributing to the people around us, how we are taking care of the well-being of the employees, and the governance, disclosures, and as well the profit. You call this to be the sustainable triple bottom line and sustainability in an organization, focusing more on values and missions rather than only the profits, right? So these are the skill sets which are required in the future, right? Analytical skills, active learning. You have to be very inquisitive. You cannot be just learning a skill, and that skill cannot be sustained for a long period of time. You have to be updated with the recent developments in your domain. So you have to contribute to active learning throughout the life. Always you have to be active in learning, and technology designs and social skills is more important in the present day scenario, right? You have to be updated with the networking skills, how you network with people, your approach, and the social intelligence, you can say, and the social skills are more important. As being a manager of the future, you need to be updated. You have to be having a very good negotiating skills. You should have a very good social skills as well. Networking is very much required. When you're working in an organization, you should have a networking with every employees or colleagues of yours, and you can move to some other organization. One day or the other, the colleague with whom you worked earlier will be a CEO somewhere. Or if you want to work with a startup, if you want some expertise, you can connect with them. So networking, it is not that you will get the benefit initially or immediately. Anytime in the future, you may get that benefit, right? Always it is better, and you should be a very good negotiator. You should be having a very good networking skills and social skills. The next one is technical competency. So you have to be tech savvy. Technical competency is very much required as we are going to work. The future of work is completely going to be automated. We are going to be in the world of artificial intelligence. We are going to be working in virtual reality and augmented reality, right? We are going to work with augmented reality, holograms. So this will be the virtual workspaces. So you have to be a tech savvy, You have to have a technical competency and proficiency in new technologies require creativity, which is one of the most in demand skills for the future. So you have to be creative and originality and taking initiative. You have to be very much quick in taking the initiatives. You should have critical thinking, persuasion skills, persuading others, and negotiating skills, and attention to details for every minute task. You have to have a very good attention to details, and resilience, how stronger you are, how robust and how much equipped, how skilled you are, how strong you are, shows the resilience. And flexibility or adaptability, you can say, complex problem solving skills, and emotional intelligence, which is also one of the most sought after skill which is required for the future, is emotional intelligence, right? You have to be ready to face the failure. Even if you have the failure, you should be stand up and move ahead and move forward. You need to have that emotional intelligence to handle the people around you. Handling the people is one of the difficult tasks, and how it affects your emotions. And you have to be with a very strong emotional intelligence, which will help you with the strong social networking skills and self-introspection, and how you are going to self-motivate yourself, and working in a given scenario with a work pressure, or if you have targets or timelines, how you're going to take it, in what sense you're going to take, and how you're going to take the emotions. And next is most sought after skill is leadership skills. And then as leadership skill, I need not tell much about that. And social influence, service orientation, artificial intelligence, coding, cloud computing, blockchain technology, graphical designs, then communication, soft skill, which is otherwise considered to be the power skills, or some of the sought after skills which are required for the future. So McKinsey has taken a survey with more than 10,000 employees, and they have come out with some findings. What will be the future of work? How the world is transforming. We are living through a fundamental transformation in the way we work. Automation, we have thinking machine, and people's human tasks are being replaced by automation. And also the skills are changing, and the skill sets, the workplaces are changing. So McKinsey has taken a research, and it has come up with some findings. Let us look into the findings. Before that, this is the report generated after a research with a survey taken with 10,000 employees across the globe. They have come out with 4 different world of work in the future. And a set of people have given that innovation will rule the world in the future. So a red world is considered to be a perfect incubator for innovation, right? Innovation, automation will be the future, right? So there will be a lot of digital platforms and technologies with more importance to creativities and making profit with the niche. So they gradually launch new products and services which are required based on the technology. But in a world where ideas rule and innovation outspace, risk are high. The reason is the rules, regulations, or policies are enacted only when there is a problem that arises. But here what happens, the accelerating growth in technology will be so faster, where there will not be enough mandates or statutory guidelines cannot come into place. For example, we have digital currencies. Gradually, our country is having a regulatory norms for Bitcoins, right? So the speed with which the technology is accelerating, and how we are leveraging on the technology, and the regulations, enactments, and guidelines which was imposed by the government, there will be a mismatch. So there is this, you can see, where ideas rule and innovation outpace regulations. The risk are high. Today's winning businesses could be tomorrow's court case, right? So there'll be a lot of fraudulent practices may happen, or not having a proper understanding of the technology, or not having a proper understanding of the modus of operandi of the technology will have a consequences. And gradually, to overcome that, you will have some enactments, rules, regulations will be imposed by the government. So the red world is all about innovations. The next one is the blue world. Capitalism, it is all about the corporations, right? Organizations see their size and influence as the best way to protect the profits. Bigger organizations, global chains, where the organization is having a global presence and who will be ruling the entire world, you can say, where there will be cutthroat competition. What is predicted for future is there will be a cutthroat competition from their peers, and very aggressive new market entrants will also be there, and there will be a gradual increase in the corporate world, or the corporates will be the king of the future, right? So you can see the corporation grow to such a scale and exert such influence that some become more powerful than the government, like Microsoft or Google. When you say, you can say they are ruling the world, right? Facebook or Microsoft or the Google, right? It is a world where individual preferences take precedence over the social responsibility. As we say that profit will be their ultimate aim, or profit margins will be their major requirements. The next one, companies care. This is a world where corporate responsibility is not taken, but imperative. A strong social conscience will be there. There will be, this is one of the prediction that in the future, the world will be green world, will have, who is having more environmental responsibility, having a diversity, and having a recognition of human rights, recognition that business is having a impact on the well-being, also financially, and workers and consumers demand the organization to do right by their employees in the wider world, right? So here, trust will be the basic element, is the basic currency underpinning the business and employment. Companies have to place a social purpose, societal purpose at heart of the commercial strategy. So that means considering the well-being of the stakeholders and the community and the society where we have the business presence. And the last one, human comes the first. Here, worker and companies seek out greater meaning and relevance with what they do. Social first, community business will have greater success. Crowd-funded capital flows through ethical and blameless brands will be there in the future. We'll also have high valued humanness in the world, that is, which is considered to be the yellow world, which is also the prediction for future of work. And for this, as we are going to have a greater transformation, we need to be prepared for the future of work. As being the students, as being your future managers, you have to be equipped and you have to be ready to face and have the preparedness to face the future of work. For this, the first requirement is you have to build the power skill. What is the power skill? That is the soft skills. So you have to develop the soft skills which are required, which is going to be the major requirement for any managers. So you have to develop your soft skills, your negotiating skills, your networking skills, your relationship building with the employer-employee or with the peer. You have to have the relationship building, your networking skills, your soft skills are to be developed, and pivot to agile thinking and working, right? What is agile thinking? You have to be very much dynamic and change according to the changing situations, upgrade yourself. And also the most important thing is build your expertise. So though you have a soft skill and networking skill, if you're not having a proper expertise, then it is of no use. So you have to have a proper expertise also, and deploy continuous learning. You keep updating yourselves. Whatever the domain you are, there should be the upgradation, upskilling is more required. You have a lot of websites and apps are there for upgrading yourself, upskilling yourself, and always be proactive. It is not that whatever the work is being assigned to you, do that. Beyond that, be proactive and try to move in the corporate ladder and how to establish your career, how to be agile and how dynamic you are and how much of expertise that you have in your domain, and whether you're equipped or whether you're able to deploy a continuous learning in the work, and changing work requirement transformation should be supported by your upskilling also, right? The next one, the most important part of the topic. Before going to that, we also have few Q&A. Let us see what are those. So what is a gig economy? It involves the exchange of labor for money between individuals and companies for a shorter period of time, a shorter tenure. You can say that to be a contractual employment or a part-time job through a digital interface like aggregators or asset sharing websites like Airbnb, or you can see Swiggy or Zomato or Zepto or Blinkit or Ola, Uber. All these are contributing majorly to the gig economy, where people work for their part-time. And sometimes you can also see it is not that the blue collar job, the white collar job, the intellectual capital contributing people like content developer, blog developers, digital marketers, coding, people who are involved in software development, app developers. So it contributes to a wide range of workforce who are looking for freelancing or who are looking for a contractual requirements. They don't want to work for a full-time 9-to-work job. If they are having a very good expertise, then they can be contractual and they should be very good negotiator as well. So the future of work, one demanding skill is negotiating skills, because when you're working in a scenario of gig economy, though you have a very good skill set, you should also be a good negotiator for a better pay for a given job, right? You could have commonly, every one of us in the present day, you would have used a freelance taxi, Uber or Ola, or holiday rentals, or you would have ordered food from any food ordering app, or any products and services you would have taken, a handmade or homemade products would have been taken online. Then definitely you're part of or you have participated in a gig economy, right? So a gig economy involves you can say exchange of labor for a money. It is between the consumers and an interface and also the employers, right? And it is for a shorter period of time and for a pay by task basis. Given the task, accomplish the task and get the payment done. That is what is called gig economy. So predominantly, you can say gig economy is using digital platforms. It is not that always in everywhere you have digital platforms. Gig economy also works without digital platforms, but predominantly you have digital platforms which connect the freelancers with the customers, right? So freelancers, they may be equipped in accounting, or they may be a consultant who is providing a legal consultancy services, or they may be providing tutoring services, or they may have a skill of teaching music or coding or software developers. Anything and everything can be a freelancing. So digital platforms are used to connect the freelancers with the customers to provide short-term services. It may be providing short-term services or asset sharing. Say, for example, BNB is an asset sharing app where you can have a short stay. If you are having a travel and if you want to stay somewhere, you can have a short stay with the help of Airbnb. You can say that will be an asset sharing. And also there are, for example, you have Urban Club or Urban Company, which is a classic example where freelancers enroll themselves for providing short-term services. So these digital platforms and aggregators act as an interface connecting the freelancers with that of the consumers or the persons who are in need of the task to be accomplished, right? And the term gig was borrowed from the earlier days when musicians, when they want to book the dates and schedules, they use the word gigs. So this term was borrowed from the music world, and we keep saying this as a gig economy, where it is a short-term contractual employment predominantly with the freelancers. See, the main asset here is a software interface. In case of a gig economy, what is required is a software interface. There'll be contingent workers with those looking for specific services, and they work for a fee to accomplish or complete the task that is assigned to them. And this will be stored for future requirement as well. And you can see what are the gig economy jobs and industries which are common. You can see accounting and finance. You can see independent consultant, mortgage representatives, administrative assistants who will work for a part-time requirement. As we are in the age of startups, we say that India is transforming to be a startup hub, right? You can see, and there is exponential growth in the startups. In the even you can say Bangalore to be one of the startup hub. So startups, because they are at the initial stage, they cannot hire a full-time employment. They cannot hire the skills required as for a full-time. So what they do, they outsource and they go for freelancing for completing a project or accomplishing a specific task. They can hire this freelancing jobs, right? So this is very much predominant in the present day, and which will be the major requirement. And the requirement of gig economy is more, which is more sought after way or model of work model, which will be in the future that you can predict. And art and design, like musicians, graphic designers, carpenters, and education. You can see Udemy. People upload their content and provide their content, and tutoring is done, right? So education, freelance writing, content writing, copywriter jobs, blog developers, information technology jobs, media and communication, technical writers, photographers, project management. They work for a specific project and complete a project, and software development, then transportation. All these are very common in the gig economy. You can see this, what is a gig economy. So it is a labor market that relies heavily on temporary and part-time positions, which is filled by independent contractors, freelancers, rather than people who are working for a long tenure. You cannot see in the near future people, you'll be amazed to see people who are working for 30 years, 25 years, no much longer tenure. You can see there is a visible transition, the way people work and how attached to the organization, because they look for flexibility and freedom and independence, which also contributes to more. There is a rise in the gig economy. So gig workers gain more flexibility. They have a lot of independence and freedom to work. They can take up the job which give based on their passion, the area or domain where they are most interested. And also, we cannot say that gig economy is without any flaws, you can say. See, if you are taking a full-time permanent job in an organization, you will have a very good pay, you will have better increments, better pay, and job security will be there. But in case of gig economy, you're not having a good job security at all. So say, for example, you're a freelancer, you're contributing to the work, and suddenly if something bad happens in the economy, there is a recession, already global companies are firing, issuing pink slips. And what happens to the gig economy? They may not find any job. Maybe in case of a pandemic, you could have witnessed these freelancers are not protected. They don't have a job security at all. So this can be said to be a major issue or challenge that people working in the gig economy face. And many employers save money by avoiding paying benefits like health coverages, paid vacations. These are not required. If you're, say, for example, if you're hiring for a contractual person for a specific period of time for completing that specific project, you want to launch a product, or you want to complete a project, you hire people who have the expertise. Once the task is over, they can leave the work. So here you wanted the workforce or the skill sets only for a specific period of time, which can be accomplished with the help of this gig economy. And here they need not, even if the employees are working for as a full-time employees, You need to pay them a better pay, health coverage, and insurance will be taken. You have to provide a physical infrastructure. You have to give them a physical space. It contributes to the cost of the company as well, right? So these considered to be the cost-effective way of getting the things done. Cost cutting, operational efficiency can be achieved by minimizing the cost and maximizing the productivity in an organization can be achieved with the proper use of the gig economy. You can see the sector asset sharing services like Airbnb is one of the classic example of asset sharing. So digital platforms that facilitate short-term P2P rentals of one owner. So you have a property, you can let it out for a short period of stay. Car sharing, home sharing, boat sharing, and parking space can be shared, equipment sharing. All these are the sectors which are included in asset sharing services. Then transportation-based services like Ola, Uber, or examples where these are considered to be the aggregators. They don't have the assets of their own, but they match the supply and demand. They match the people who is freelance drivers with that of the required service takers. So ride sharing, carpooling, restaurant delivery, goods delivery, or some of the examples you can say Blinkit, or is an example, Ola, Uber, or example of transportation-based services, and professional services like digital platform that connect the freelancers to complete the projects. So business works, micro work, coding services, content writing, blog development, app development, all these are considered to be professional services. Like urban companies, one of the classic example, Catalan, Guru, Upwork, or some of the examples of professional services provider, which is also a part of gig economy. And homemade goods, anyone, you can market your product through a aggregator or a digital platform, and also you can contribute to your services, your expertise through this digital platforms. So home services, supplying the workforce for home services, babysitting, homemade crafts, tutoring, pet services, all these are part of these are freelancing, where for you work for a specified short-term tenure as a temporary employee with contractual terms of payment for completing a specific task. You call this is a part of gig economy. The next one. Yeah. What is the potential of India's gig economy or gig sector? You can see estimated 56% of employment in India is generated by gig economy companies. Both it includes blue collar and white collar workforce. It also includes specific project developers or project consultants, salespersons, web designers, content writers, software developers. They are part of this white collar job, which is also majorly transforming, and this is going to be the future of work in the near future. And gig economy can serve up to 90 million jobs in the non-farming sector, which is also contributing to 1.25% of the GDP over a long run. And as India is moving towards a goal becoming the $5 trillion economy by 2025, right? So this is going to provide a huge income contributing domain of work, and also filling the gap of unemployment, or unemployment gap is filled with the help of this gig sector or gig economy. So now let us see what are the key drivers of gig sector. The first one is flexibility to work from anywhere. So in case of digital age, you need not go commute for 1 hour. That too, in case of a cosmopolitan city, commuting is one of the tiring work. So in case of a digital age, you need not sit in a fixed location. A physical space, specific physical space is not required. You can get a job done from anywhere. So the employer is free to choose the talent anywhere across the globe. All right. So it is not bound by the geography that you have to take the workforce or recruitment within a country or within a locality, right? You can, across the globe, you can source the skills anywhere in the globe. and changing work approach. See, the millennial generation seems to have different attitude to work, which is gradually transforming. Rather than working for financials, they also look into the inner urges. What is their passion? Rather than looking for the role which provides only few motivators, right? So they want to work rather than having a career which is not satisfying their urges, inner urges of the passion. And the business model, how it works is based on the contractual, short-term, and fee model is prevalent. Working for a fee is which is more prevalent in the as a business model, and startup culture, which is also contributing to this gig economy. See, in case of a startup, if you're hiring a full-time worker or a full-time employee, we need to have you have to spend high fixed cost. So it is better to outsource the work and recruit contractual freelancers for non-core activities. In case of core activities, yes, you need to have full-time employees. But in case it is a non-core task, definitely it can be outsourced. You can look for a freelancer for completing the project or the task in hand. Right? So startups are also looking for hired skilled technology freelancers, like in the area of data science, or whether it comes to machine learning or product development or engineering. Startups, it is going to be, or it is evolving, and it is going to be the startup culture where they look for freelancers for non-core activities of their organization. And you can see visibly, you can see in the present day, there is a rising demand for contractual employees. They look for MNCs are adapting flexi hiring options for niche products, and they try to cut down the cost, because when you're recruiting a full-time employee, you have to pay them paid vacations. You have to provide them healthcare services. You have to take care of the well-being. And also as an organization, you have to provide them training and development. First, you have to induct them. You have to provide them the orientation. Then you have to provide them the training, the skills required for that specific job, if you are recruiting a full-time worker. Whereas if you are looking for a freelancer, they're already skilled. You can source. You can look for a skilled freelancer as per your requirement, and where you can cut down the operational expenses of an organization. So this is going to be the trend, and this trend is significantly contributing to the gig economy in our country, right? Also, we cannot say that gig is completely away from the flaws. There are some challenges which are associated with the gig sector. You can say there is no proper regulations. Gig economy is completely unregulated. And when it comes to social security, job security, yes, job security is not there for gig workers or freelancers. Contractual workers, there is no job security. There is no insurance. There is no formal organizations to raise, voice out their requirements. They are not regulated, and which is going to be prevalent in the near future. And only gig working or gig economy will be suitable only when you're skilled, only when you're equipped, only when you're extremely talented, right? If you're not equipped, if you're not having adequate skills to match the requirements of the present day need, then the people who are not upskilled, they'll be sidelined. They may not have a skill. And also, more important is negotiating skills or bargaining power, right? If you are skilled, you can have a better bargaining skills negotiation. If you don't have, if as a person, if you're not having required skills, then there cannot be negotiation. You cannot bargain for better pay. So here, that is one of the challenges associated with the gig sector. Then there is a demand supply mismatch also happening in the gig sector. There are a lot of independent workers, more than the actual requirement of jobs. So there is a huge mismatch between the job supplies and the takers. And there are a lot of online independent workers, the freelancers are available, but the jobs are not equal to the demanded independent workers, right? This contributing to depressing wages. They cannot have a better bargaining also because supply is more, demand is less. Next, lack of benefits. You can say gig workers are deprived of job security, deprived of health benefits, deprived of retirement benefits. If they work for an organization for a long tenure, they'll have retirement benefits. These are gig workers or freelancers are deprived of these benefits. And obviously, work-life management is not there because, say, for example, some freelancers, they commit to numerous projects. End of the day, they'll be burnt out and they'll be overburdened with work. So in case of full-time, they work for 9 to 5, maybe extended time may work. But when it comes to freelancers, they accept or enter into contracts with many employers. You could have heard of moonlighting, the term called moonlighting, where people take up many jobs or taking jobs with 2 or 3 employees as well, right? Sometimes if they commit to many employers, if they commit to many contracts, what happens? At the end of the day, they'll have huge burden and they are burnt out. So there is a lack of proper work-life management, which is a major issue faced by the freelancers because they commit. They give a lot of commitments and they're entering into a lot of contractual work and end up with burnt out and a lot of burden, which is a lack of work-life balance. And also insecurity. You're not assured of pay. If you are a full-time employer, you're assured of salary every month. If in case of freelancer, there is no assurance, there is an insecurity, inconsistent income, and also work culture. So you learn a lot from your colleagues, peer, and they contribute to your development as well. And there is no rapport, there is no social networking. In case of gig workers and freelancer, they just come in, do the work and go, right? So work culture is not there. And job market is also not that as which is expected. So who are part of this new economy is independent workers who are considered as the freelancers, and companies or digital platforms or aggregators which act as interface to connect the workers with that of the consumers, and consumers are the beneficiaries who are the takers of the job. These are the part of this new economy called gig economy, and how this gig economy is reshaping the future of work. Let us have a quick look into this, how this is contributing to the future of work. See, gig economy is majorly influencing the workforce, how we work, whether you're a full-time employee or a part-time or a contractual, or you work for a specific time period or accomplishing a particular task-based, or you work for a fee or based on your efforts, you get the pay. You based on your outcome, you're getting a pay. Based on the time contributed, you're going to get a pay. Your workforce, how we work is transforming. Your workplace is transforming, and your work model, whether you're working for a specific stipulated time period or you're working for accomplishing a specific goal or the task in hand. So work model is also transforming with the growing gig economy. So again, you can say gig economy is a win-win for employers and employee, right? It is dynamic. There is a paradigm shift in the work environment, the work culture, and flexi timings and flexible workforce for a shorter period of time, which is a win-win approach. Both employers and employee are getting benefited, right? So employees need not be working for a longer tenure in an organization according to their passion, according to their requirement, according to their inner urge, what kind of work they want to perform, what should be the skill set required. Accordingly, they can match their skills with that of their requirement and desired jobs. And also as an employer, they can recruit these freelancers for as a contractual or a temporary workforce. They need not pay more package, and also their operational expenses can be reduced. So you can say this to be a win-win approach. And you can see a flexible workforce. You can hire a flexible workforce, and cost cutting. You need not give a training. You need not spend money on training for these employees, because already in case of freelancing, you're going to look for already equipped, skilled workforce. So no need to provide a training. So here, by the way, you're cutting the cost. And also mass layoff, like what we have witnessed in the recent days, of whether it comes to Google or Facebook or Microsoft, or any global companies, you can see a layoff happening around the world. This can be avoided. And gig economy offers independent workers. They can have a sustainable career path with greater flexibility. They can work as per the requirement of the timing. Work-life balance can be ensured, and skill-based opportunities. What are the skills? Accordingly, their work will be there. And explosion of digital platforms, you can see an exponential growth, accelerated growth in the rise of digital platforms, which is being leveraged by the present day economy. And they can take only the desired projects with the professional organizations. And digitalization of knowledge helps the job seeker to equip themselves, upskill themselves for the most sought after demanded job roles, right? So present day job roles are predominantly and majorly based on the skill sets, right? So people require to upskill themselves with the digitalization of the knowledge. There are a lot of websites available for upskilling yourself, and also importing digital trainings also happening for gig workers by the companies, and inspiring new generation gig workers. There is a surge in gig economy and replacing the permanent employees. And now even the permanent employees also reassessing and looking, is it right, or we have to shift to gig working, right? So people started, after this COVID pandemic, people started, they tasted the work from home, the freedom, and they also know how it works if you're working from home. So that also contributing to gig economy. You can see a lot of workforce, women workforce, which is also contributing to this gig economy, working part-time, balancing the work, and the work-life balance is assured or ensured with this gig economy. And as a result of millennials and Gen Z, the Indian workforce is predominantly consisting of millennials and Gen Z, right? So they have a greater inclination towards the flexibility and skill-based workforce, right? And diverse and inclusive workforce is possible. You need not recruit or hire people of your local community or society. You can locate or source the skills across the globe as per your requirements. And finally, you can see the working mothers, convalescent or disabled employees also. There is no need for commuting. Then there is no need for physical infrastructure. There is no need to report to an office. You can work from home and take a part-time contractual work, where even a disabled employees or working mothers can also contribute to this gig economy. And this is going to be the future of work in the near future, with a lot of new work models. Freedom to work, work-life balance is ensured with, rather than conventional work models, you have shift in employee expectations, fluid workforces, and we have leveraging the technology. The world is still evolving and the future of work is transforming, and you can witness more unpredictable jobs, and new jobs will evolve, and the older traditional jobs will be replaced with automation, artificial intelligence, new skill set, new transformation technologies will take place in the future.
The session was so, you had such a detailed session that most of the queries of the topic were taken care during the session.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for
thank you.
Sharing your thoughts and having such an informative session for our students. I'm sure there's a lot of insight that they have got about the topic. Thank you for giving your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think I can log out.
Thank you,
Thank you all for the patient listening as well. And also there was a very good interaction. Also, I can see some questions. And only when there is an interaction, it would be nice to have a communication. It should be two-way. And I experienced that. And it's really great that I have also received some question. It shows that the interest of your students also. That's great to see. And thank you for the opportunity. And thank you all. Thank you so much.
So thank you, students, for attending the session, and have a great evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.